Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all, and I wasn't planning on recording another video tonight, but guess what? New Speedroid cards have been confirmed for Supreme Darkness. That's excellent. Speedroids have not been good for a while. There were a few Speedroid tops, I think early last year, and then they banned Barone, and people stopped playing Speedroids as an engine in Kashtira. And, because there was no level 10 that really worked too well. Speedroids are level 3 tuners that can special summon themselves, pretty useful, but, when you have level 7 bodies, you need a level 10, and a lot of the higher level synchro monsters specifically require synchro tuners or non-tuners, which is part of the reason why they lose so frequently to to Nibiru the Primal Being, which is why we needed Barone. And without Barone, Speedroids just get completely destroyed by Nibiru. So, let's take a look. Speedroids suffer from several drawbacks, which make them poor choices in the TCG. Number one, they suffer from needing to discard cards to use a lot of their effects, specifically their search effects. When the Wind Channeler requires that you discard a Wind monster, Speedroid Scratch requires that you discard a Speedroid card, and the Speedroid Wheel requires that you discard a generic card. You also need access to a normal summon, and you need access to probably a special summon from hand, tuners and non-tuners. So Speedroids are an incredibly inconsistent deck, and because of that, they typically don't build too strong of a board unless they have a really consistent opening hand, which basically means they can't play as many hand traps as other decks. And that's part of the reason why they don't do so well. You can't play cards like Ash Blossom and Droll to the frequency that other people can. Droll is a card you can search thanks to Win, so you can play like 3 Droll, probably 1 Droll. You probably play 1 Droll, maybe like 3 Ash, but the more hand traps you put in your deck, like Imperm and Called by the Grave, the more cards you lose as fodder for your search effects. And this is search that other decks get for free. Other decks just get to search cards, without discarding, without needing to, pay a cost. Usually they have a field spell that searches, or they'll have a normal summon that searches, something like that. We have Terror Top, and Terror Top did get put to 3 as part of Barone coming off the ban list, but that doesn't matter because you still can't summon, in most cases, you can't summon a monster that can negate Nibiru the Primal Being before you hit 5 summons, and then you just lose the game. So let's see how this goes. Alright, these cards have not been translated on the official website yet, but I have a source who has promised me that these are mostly accurate, so I will go ahead and I will tell you what they do. The first card that we are looking at, the little, what is it? The Nutcracker. The Nutcracker looking gentleman right here is called Speedroid Crackernel. And it is a level 2 wind machine monster with 200 attack, 800 defense, and has a pendulum scale of 8. That's interesting. Pendulums, for Speedroids specifically, have lacked a high scale, which is important for specifically clearing Fast Dragon, which is a level 7 pendulum monster. And for the most part, Fast Dragon has not been a card that you could pendulum summon with most Speedroid pendulum scales because they were designed for lower level monsters. So if this card has a decent pendulum effect, then I could see it potentially getting used, at least in the pendulum scale. It could have a good monster effect. Let's see what we have here. The pendulum effect is you can only use Speedroid Crackernel's pendulum effect once per turn. You can banish 1 Speedroid card from your graveyard, place 1 Speedroid monster from your deck in your other pendulum zone. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except wind monsters. Okay, that's pretty good. That's very similar to that one Super Heavy Samurai Wakaushi? Whatever his name is. Getting an extra scale from your deck is really strong. You could just play maybe 3 copies of this and then 1 copy of the scale 2 pendulum card. That'd be pretty decent. and you already get wind locked a lot in Speedroids, so that's not that big of a deal. The biggest problem is banishing a Speedroid card from your graveyard. How are you going to get a Speedroid card in your graveyard before you've started your plays? If the intention is for you to set your scales after you've started your plays, well, then you're missing out on pendulum summoning. So I don't see, and it's not like there's anything else that's happening here. It's just that you're setting a scale. So unless the other scale does something very beneficial to you, then I see poor value here. But let's take a look. Monster effect. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or an effect, you can special summon one Speedroid Crackornell from your hand, deck, or graveyard as a tuner monster. Okay. Speedroids don't typically have good ways to destroy their own cards except for Hi-Speedroid Kite Drake. Is that good? You would get a level 2 tuner with a level 8 non-tuner. Sounds like Barone, but we don't have Barone. Could you use that to make Crystal Clearwing? I don't think so. I think Crystal Clearwing specifically requires a Clearwing Synchro monster. Let me check real quick. I should have Speedroid cards pulled up. I'm sorry. Let's see. Crystal Clearwing. Non-tuner Clearwing monster. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can't. So you can't use it to make Crystal Clearwing off of Kite Drake, and there's not another level 10 that's in our archetype, and we can't play Barone. So I mean, well, you can in the OCG. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's supposed to set up Barone, and we just can't play Barone because we got it banned. That would be unfortunate. What's the second effect? When your Clearing monster battles while this card is face up in your extra deck during damage calculation, you can banish this card, and if you do, increase your monster's attack by 700. Wow. I mean, okay, maybe that's supposed to help you get to 8,000. Seems like a terrible effect. I don't think I've ever heard of a pendulum monster that banishes itself for cost from, well, it's not banishing for cost, it's banishing for effect, but banishing itself as an effect for while it's in the extra deck. That's an interesting idea. I like the idea. I just don't think it fits in Speedroids because Speedroids have never really been a pendulum deck. But okay. So far, I'm not impressed. Let's see the next card. The next card is adorable. We'll say that it is a what appears to be a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, just like as an action figure. Speedroid Wing Synchron, level 5 Wind Machine Pendulum Tuner monster, 1500 attack, 1000 defense with a scale 4. Scale 4 is awful. Does not matter what deck you are playing. 4 is the worst scale by far. You will never want to exclude level 4 monsters from your pendulum summoning in any way. And Speedroids in particular don't want to exclude monsters below level 4 either. So if the idea is for these two cards to work together, you are cutting yourself off from basically pendulum summoning anything other than your synchro monsters, which is not good. Why are you destroying your synchro monsters on turn 1? I don't know. Alright. Pendulum effect. As a soft once per turn, you can destroy one level 2 wind monster card in your pendulum zone and this card. Huh. Okay. Well, the other card does set itself if it special summons another copy of it if it's destroyed. So you're not pendulum summoning. Okay. Fine. You can destroy one level 2 wind monster card in your pendulum zone and this card, and if you do, special summon one Clearwing Synchro Dragon from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. Also, for the rest of this turn, cards in your pendulum zones cannot be destroyed by effects, and you cannot special summon monsters except wind monsters. Okay, so it basically you can't do it twice. But it's a soft once per turn, but you can't do it twice because your pendulum cards can't be destroyed. I don't know why it's a soft once, if the intention is that you can't do it more than once. I guess so that if your opponent negates the effect, you can do it again. Okay. Okay. If your opponent negates the effect without destroying the card, you can just do it again. Fair enough. All right. All right. No, you can't because it's stop once per turn. So you have to get like you. Oh, okay. If they negate the effect and destroy the card, and then you play another one, you can try again. Okay. If you brick super hard, sure. Monster effect. You can only use this monster effect from this card's name once per turn. If this card is added to the extra deck face up and you control 2 or more wind synchro monsters with different types, you can send one Speedroid spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. Okay, so since the first card wants you to banish a Speedroid card from the graveyard, I'm sure that you've already synchro summoned once, so then you're going to synchro summon again. Now the interesting thing is they have to have different types, which means that you're not going to be summoning a dragon, because you're going to be summoning a dragon with this card. So you're going to be summoning a wind machine monster, most likely. That could mean Cork Shooter, which could mean that you're going into Crystal Wing, or that you're going into Clear Wing Crystal Dragon, but let's see what the other cards are. Also, there is one Speedroid trap card that has a benefit, which is, if it's in the graveyard, which is Speedroid Duplicate. You can special summon it as a level 1 tuner by reducing the level of one of your other cards by 1. I don't think that's what they're intending for us to do, though. I think that the trap card here probably has some sort of grave effect. We'll get to it. All right. Next up, we are going to look at this level 5 Synchro Tuner monster, because I'm sure that's what they're intending for us to summon first. 5 is not a level we typically want to go into early, by the way. Hi-Speedroid Glider. Hi-Speedroid Glider 2. The number 2 is in the name. Why? Okay. Hi-Speedroid Glider 2, level 5 Wind Machine Synchro Tuner Effect Monster. 1600 attack, 2200 defense. Requires a Wind Machine Tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can target one level 7 or lower non-tuner Wind Synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it. If your opponent special summons a monster while you control a Clear Wing monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard and increase the levels of all monsters your opponent currently controls by 5. What a mess. Okay. Alright, let me think. Okay, so we're not summoning this first because we want there to already be a Clearwing Synchro Dragon in our graveyard when this card is summoned. So then, okay. Alright, let's back up. Okay. How is this working? Let's say that we have Terror Top and the level 2 in our hand. Okay. We special summon Terror Top. We grab Takatomborg. We special summon Takatomborg. Takatomborg tribute itself, special summon Red-Eye Dice. Red-Eye Dice, lower Terror Top's level to 2. Synchro into Cork Shooter. Cork Shooter, revive Terror Top and Red-Eye Dice. Red-Eye Dice change Terror Top to level 4. Then we play the scale, banish the Takatomborg, set the other scale, destroy them both. Special summon the Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Now we have Cork Shooter, Clearwing, Terror Top, and Red-Eye Dice on the field. Cork Shooter and Clearwing go into Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Then we synchro the 1 and 4 that we kept on our board into this glider, revive the Clearwing again, and now we can make the level 12. It's not a bad 2-card combo. Let's see what the level 12 does. Because this card does have interruption as well. Being able to raise your opponent's monster's level by 5 can be very useful. You can deny Exceed summoning, you can deny Synchro summoning. So let's see what we got here. This level 12 Dragon Synchro monster with 3,500 attack and 3,000 defense is definitely not a Speedroid monster. Let's see. I should mention. I meant to bring this up, but real quick, this card is a synchron monster. It's called what is it called? Speedroid Wing Synchron. So this card is a synchron monster, which means that it can be special summoned from the deck with Junk Speeder for all you Stardust fans out there. Anyway, okay. Crystal Clearwing Over Synchro Dragon. Level 12 Wind Dragon Synchro Effect Monster. 3,500 attack, 3,000 defense. Requires 2 tuners or 1 Synchro Tuner Monster plus Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Now, previously, Speedroids did not have a level 5 Synchro Tuner Monster. So, this card is, there's a clear line like I just came up with, but that's the only line. If you don't have your Glider, then you can't make this card with the normal effect. Alright. Once per turn, when another card or effect is activated as a quick effect, you can negate that activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then, if a monster was destroyed by this effect, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack until the end of the turn. So it's an Omni Negate. If this face-up Synchro Summon card leaves the field because of your opponent, you can special summon 1 Clearwing monster from your extra deck. Okay. And Omni Negate is pretty good. And if you have Crystal Clearwing out, you also have a Spell and Trap Negate, and you can make your Crystal Clearwing unaffected by monster effects. It's a soft ones, but there's no way you're going to make 2 of these. It's way too specific of a material. And the Glider's ability to revive Clearwing is a hard once per turn. Where is it? Yeah. So you're not going to be able to summon more than two of them. Or more than one of them, I mean. All right. It's an interesting card. It doesn't make up for Barome being gone because it takes way too many summons to make it. You are still going to get Nibiru, 100%. But at least your end board is a little bit stronger. And it does help us deal with the fact that we lost key pieces by making Terror Top more of a good card to have in our opening hand. That's not good enough, though, I don't think. It's 1 Omni Negate plus a Spell and Trap Negate. The fact that you have to send Clearwing to the graveyard really hurts it, I think. And it's not... There's not an easy way for you to make Crystal Wing instead of Clearwing. Like, Crystal Clearwing is okay, but I wouldn't say it's as good as Crystal Wing. Alright, let's take a look at this trap card. Speedroid Clearwing Wonder. Normal trap, you can use each effect once per turn. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Wind Synchro monsters with different types you control and destroy them. Okay. It's a targeted destruction effect. We'll target up to 2 cards and destroy them. It's decent. But the grave effect is what's going to be important because we're milling. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 1 Wind Synchro monster you control. Banish it and then return that monster to the field. Oh. So we have 2 Omnis. Your opponent has to special summon a monster first. And you have to target, which means that your opponent can respond to the targeting. I mean, that's really telegraphed, but it's a really powerful effect. That's a really good effect, being able to just reset your Omni. But again, it's so telegraphed. You can only do it at a very specific time. Your opponent can just banish this trap card from your graveyard beforehand, or they can respond to you targeting the Crystal Overwing by removing it from the field. It's still really good, though. Okay. So we're talking about a 2-card combo between Terror Top and this thing. That's still going to require a lot of searching, which means that we're still going to be in the same boat as before. Our end board is going to be stronger, which is good. Our end board needs to be a little bit stronger than what it currently is. But we're still not going to be able to run hand traps. And we still died in a Nibiru. So no, this is not good enough. This might take Speedroids to like a very low rogue, but it's not going to see play. This is not good enough. It's really fun. I'll probably like immediately build this in Master Duel as soon as these cards get released, but that's in like a year and a half. Regardless, you know, it's cool. I'll keep an eye on the OCG meta, see if anyone tops with a list. If they do, it's probably not going to have too many Speedroids in it, but this is like a pretty mediocre combo. You would only need to run maybe three of this card, 3 Terror Tops, 1 Takatom board. It does win lock you pretty hard, so you won't see it in every deck, but you might see it in like Magispectors, maybe a few other like meta win decks, but we'll see if a meta win deck emerges, really. Alright, well, there you go. That's my thoughts. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.